Okay, we're here with Eric Fine from Patriot Law Firm. Eric has a background in the military and law enforcement and now works as a defender of constitutional rights. We're tackling issues in the series that really can change your life in the blink of an eye.
Blink of an eye, yes.
Things like DUIs, drug charges, assault charges, probation violations. And he just wants to make sure his clients have the knowledge and tools they need to protect their future. And that's why he's here and why he does what he does. So we are diving into the topic of domestic violence.
Okay.
Talking about how these charges work in Alabama and possible defenses if you're accused. So let's just start with what kind of relationships would qualify under Alabama's domestic violence law?
Great question, because it expands wildly beyond your imagination.
Okay.
When you think of domestic violence and who does this specific, it's still Alabama law.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a special category that includes and is about relationships.
Okay.
So this is key that you bring that up. So what are the relationships? Well, okay, I'll tell you. There's, of course, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, brother, sister, mom and dad, and then here's one for you. People you've dated in the past.
Really?
I look, that is insane, right?
Yeah.
Someone who has had a personal or intimate relationship with someone in the past. Now, does that mean that your date from high school, the high school prom? No, I could probably get that one thrown out.
Yeah, because I was about to say, how do they define someone that you dated in the past?
It depends.
Always.
And this is, again, the key determinant of where do you go? And this is what lawyers do. This is
My
what
goodness.
I do. So it could even be roommates who are not intimate, okay, in a dating relationship. It could, think of a college situation where you've got roommates that get into an argument over who ate that bag of Cheetos over there, and the next thing you know, you got pushing, shoving, yelling, screaming, shouting, kicking, punching, whatever. Someone's going to jail over some Cheetos, okay? Look, I sometimes I have to make light of it just so I can try to understand it myself. Yeah. But you hit on a key. It's the relationship, okay? So it's Alabama law. Specifically, it's things like harassment, harassing communications, criminal coercion, assault, things like that. So it could be ugly text messaging, harassing communications. Okay, get you in jail.
Yeah.
All right, pushing, shoving, kicking, slapping, that kind of thing, get you in jail.
Yep.
So the first thing that is really looked at by law enforcement when they get a call and they respond, okay, odds are they didn't see what happened.
Right.
You would agree, right?
Right, yeah.
2 in the
domestic,
morning.
it happened in the home.
Right.
Or wherever, the dorm
or wherever.
room,
But odds are the police are not there, right?
Right.
So the law specifically grants powers to law enforcement to make a misdemeanor arrest. Now, of course, there are felony varieties of domestic violence, which has to do with was a weapon used and how much injury was caused.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's a felony situation where law enforcement has a lot more leeway to make an arrest.
Okay.
All right. But the law specifically says with a misdemeanor, it has to occur in the presence of law enforcement.
Oh.
Well, there's really three factors or three situations where that wouldn't happen: a DUI with a crash, shoplifting, okay, and the domestic violence.
Right.
So the law has been specifically changed in what they call 13A6 132 that says these groups of offenses here, if it happens and the cops don't see it, they can still make a warrantless misdemeanor arrest.
Yeah.
So the 2 in the morning, they didn't see that, right? What the law says is, at a minimum, a report must be done, okay? A record. Number 2, the law actually encourages, if not command, a law enforcement officer that if they can determine who the primary aggressor was, they should make an arrest. Now, look, I've been married 34 years, but I've never had a domestic kind of situation, but I've had arguments with my wife, okay? And they can become heated, and as I find out, I'm usually always wrong, so I'm cool with that, all right? But it's never gotten physical, but this happens.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, maybe people don't have as great a marriage that I have, right? But this happens. So when it happens and the police come in, they're ordered by law, hey, if you can find a primary aggressor, arrest them. And then the law goes on to say, if you don't or can't determine who the primary aggressor was and you see that there's been a problem, you should arrest both of them.
Yeah. Figure it out later.
Yeah. And what I hear a lot of, okay, I'll get a call, let's say a woman will call me and say that she's been arrested for domestic violence, third degree, a misdemeanor. And I'll say, well, what was it? Harassment, assault? And she'll tell me, I slapped him, okay, and there was a red mark found. But I was the one who called the police. Why was I arrested? And it was because the law enforcement, they got there, they determined you were the primary aggressor. Or maybe they didn't see any physical marks on you, but they saw on him.
Yeah.
And then they figured, look, if we don't make an arrest, so why was the law changed like that in Alabama? The idea really, has to do with, we settle a situation down, we leave, next thing you know, I'll show you.
Right.
Okay, and then somebody gets seriously hurt, if not worse.
Right.
So the law says, look, we're going to extend custodial arrests privileges to law enforcement in certain situations in order to keep a tamper down on what's happening.
You got to keep everybody safe.
Got to keep everybody safe. But, at the same time, when we sacrifice in society, when we sacrifice safety for freedom,
right,
what happens?
Yeah.
It sounds really good, like a punchline, and, until you're the one with the cuffs on,
right,
being taken to jail for you don't know what really happened.
Yeah.
Okay? And at the same time, they don't want to discourage people from calling 911, okay? Yeah. So it's been my experience that, look, law enforcement officers in Alabama, they use discretion and they use it properly, okay? If this is a yeah argument, okay, nobody needs to go to jail. I'll give you an example. I got a call one time when I was a rookie officer 100 years ago. I got a call to a domestic elderly couple in an argument. I get there. They're both sitting in their chairs. You know what they're arguing over?
What?
He won't turn the channel and won't give her the remote. That's a real thing, okay? And then I've gone to domestics where I've had to walk in and I'm ducking a chair being thrown, okay? So I've seen it all.
Yeah.
And you do see it all as a police officer and as a lawyer. But, the bottom line is all of those dramatics aside, it comes down to what the law says and what that relationship is.
Yeah.
So what makes a domestic violence charge in Alabama so critical, so important, where you got to call me? And you got to call me immediately, okay? Have somebody call me if you're being taken to jail,
right?
All right? Is if you are convicted, number one, you will lose your right to own or possess in any manner any firearm for the rest of your life. Yeah. So if you're a deer hunter, okay, say you don't carry a gun for protection, but you like dove hunting, deer hunting, whatever.
Yeah.
No more. Can't have it. And you just having that gun in the house, even if it's not that's constructed possession.
Right.
And that's a crime.
Yeah.
Okay? Forever.
Yeah.
All right? You don't lose your right to vote on a misdemeanor kind of domestic violence. But here's one that I think really hits home just as much as the not being able to have a firearm. Let's say that there's this domestic abuse that's gone on. Arrests have been made. A client comes to me and says, look, I'm going through now an ugly divorce, and there's kids involved. If you are convicted in Alabama of a domestic violence crime, whatever degree, you are presumed to be an unfit parent. And that could then cause you to lose custody of a child in those domestic relations courts.
Wow.
So it is a serious issue with repercussions that will last forever. So it is an ugly situation, and it's got to be confronted early. You got to call me right away.
Yeah.
And we got to get in there and we got to get after it.
Yeah. All right. So someone who's been accused or, is in the process of kind of fielding these accusations or being charged with a domestic violence crime. What kind of defenses might you use for those people?
Okay. Well, for one, self-defense. God did not put anyone on this earth to be physically abused by anyone.
Right.
So self-defense. A lot of times, what you'll see, and you kind of see it in football, okay? When you talk about, unsportsmanlike penalties and all that, someone will push somebody, right?
Yeah.
And the ref doesn't see that, but then they see the counter done, and that's the guy that gets the flag.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see a lot of this. Just because you're the one who called 911 does not give you leave or liberty to believe that you may not be the one to go to jail.
Right.
It can happen.
Right.
I am not discouraging people from calling 911. If you have to call, call.
Yeah.
Okay? These are serious situations, emotionally charged, that can spin violently out of control.
Right.
So, as far as other defenses other than self-defense, I see a lot of times, and this is strange, I saw it in law enforcement so many years ago, and that had to do with a couple going through a divorce. I've never been through a divorce, so I don't know what that's like, but it ain't pretty from what I can tell. But when two people who are going through a divorce and they each have their own lawyers, and then they say, hey, you live upstairs, I'll live downstairs, bad idea.
Yeah.
Because these other lawyers are saying, hey, anytime that she looks at you cross, call the cops. Anytime that, he does anything and argues with call the cops. So we ended up going as social workers and errand boys for lawyers when I was an officer, showing up, and it's like, why are you calling us because you left dishes in, It's true, because you can't cohabitate if you're going through a divorce.
Yeah.
I don't care what they say about amicable divorces and we want to go our separate ways. Look, you just don't do it, okay?
Yeah.
The risk is too bad.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of that. So, being aware as a lawyer defending a client that this alleged victim has been instructed by his or her lawyer to, every time somebody looked at her or him cross-eyed, you're to call and make a report, okay? I can show a long-term pattern by getting that evidence of reports taken, because the law says, like we talked earlier, that they have to make a report.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So what we basically have is almost like this war of attrition between these two battling parties that are cohabitating together, with instructions from lawyers saying every time they look at you wrong, call the police.
Oh, boy.
So it's crazy.
Yeah.
And the police get tired of it, okay?
And it's a waste of their time.
Huge waste of their time that they could be doing other things to
Yes.
protect the public
Yes.
other than, basically fulfilling the wishes of a divorce lawyer.
Oh, boy.
So that's why law enforcement also has this extended power of warrantless misdemeanor arrests, and says, you know what? I don't see this resolving. You're both gone.
Yeah.
And you arrest them both. And they're going, whoop, what? But you won't get a call back that night.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So in defending domestic violence, because look, there is a huge stigma that comes with that too. I mean, and it's a big problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And, think of all the countless cases that we've seen in the past, about domestic violence situations spinning out of control and someone gets seriously hurt or murdered.
Yeah.
Police are going to be very proactive.
Yeah.
Okay. Very proactive, and they will effect an arrest, which means you immediately need to start affecting your defense, and I need a call.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So what is the first thing you do? Somebody calls you. What does that conversation look like?
Well, okay, if they're out of jail, they need to come and see me, and talk about what happened in as many embarrassing details as is necessary.
Just lay it all out, because you've heard everything.
You know what? If your elbow hurts and you go to the doctor, you don't go to the doctor when a doctor walks in and says, "Well, how can I help you?" and you point at your knee and say, "My knee's giving me okay." I gotta know. I don't judge.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. I defend principles, not people. Okay. My problem is I really like my clients because I run a small boutique firm to where my clients have my cell number.
Right.
Okay. I text with my clients.
Yeah.
I drive them crazy. They drive me crazy.
Right.
But it's a relationship business.
Yeah.
It's what we do. But the whole point is I need to know right away because I need to get in, be proactive, get this evidence quickly, because a lot of times you may not see that there's now going to be a PFA, a protection from abuse, which is called an ex parte writ, meaning it's just one party that they're going and, they're going to try to really hem you up and get you thrown out of the house.
Yeah.
I need to know early
Yeah.
on. And sometimes it's too late. But I would say to somebody also, if they were in jail and they contacted me, shut up and lawyer up. Be a gentleman, be a lady. Don't be a jerk. Don't resist arrest. Just don't discuss your case with anybody but me.
Yeah.
All right? Me and my staff.
Right.
And let us break down these elements of the crime. The alleged crime, okay, the allegation, okay, let us break these down, because if you haven't given away any evidence, it's a tool in my toolbox I'll get to keep and use for you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's great. You said something about this earlier, just that when someone is accused of domestic violence, tends to be something that people remember. It's kind of once that's on you, it's hard to shake that. So what do you do to help your clients kind of protect their reputation during all this?
Well, I've got one word for that,
Okay.
and I'm sure I'll get the reaction that I always get: Facebook. You see people going crazy on Facebook, and they're going to post all kinds of stuff. Don't post anything on social media.
Yeah.
Okay, that goes with any of my clients. We talk about staying off social media, not becoming triggered by social media.
Yeah.
All right. But at the same time, if somebody is blasting you on social media about this stuff, hey, maybe the person who's accusing you of it, screenshot it, save it.
Yeah.
Use that in court many times, especially on protection from abuse orders, when we argue those that are always ancillary but peripheral to these domestic violence charges. So you're going to see your name, if you put it out there, drug through the mud. You can't, don't fall for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't get baited. Don't make your situation worse.
Right.
Don't get baited into Facebook battles.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
I mean, they're entertaining as I'm laying in bed at night and I'm reading through all this
Sure.
stuff. I mean, of course, and you just shake your head and go, oh, my God, I can't believe they're doing this.
What a train wreck.
Train wreck.
Yeah.
All right. Self-inflicted wounds are always the worst.
Yeah.
And that is a self-inflicted wound.
Yeah.
When you start either trying to put your defense out there on Facebook or defend yourself on Facebook, look, people are going to do what they're going to do. It's this funny saying, and I use this also with my clients. It's like, when you wrestle with a pig, everybody gets muddy, but only the pig likes it. Don't get involved.
Yeah.
With that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it lends itself to you're taking tools that I need to defend you right out of my toolbox.
Yeah.
And now we're compounding a problem.
Now you got to do damage control on that.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like shutting up and lawyer up. Just shut up about it. You don't post. That's the biggest thing. These things are going to have to work themselves out, and especially in that situation. And when we were talking about, you got a divorcing couple living upstairs and downstairs, and both lawyers have given explicit instructions. If he looks at you cross-eyed, call the cops, make a report. Don't get triggered.
Yeah,
it's a big thing.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
This is Eric Fine from Patriot Law Firm, discussing domestic violence charges and how to protect your rights. If you are dealing with anything like this, or you know somebody who is, please call Eric. He should be your first line of defense, the first call that you make. He's got all the answers and all the experience that you need. So thank you for being here with us and talking through all this.
Thank you for having me, Ann. Thank you very much.